balancing kick and bass. One of the toughest things to do while EQing your song is getting your kick and your bass balanced. Now, the big issue that you always have is that both the kick and the bass drum are really inhabiting a lot of the same frequencies in the low end. They do have high frequencies as well, which are important, but it's that low end. You want to get your song kind of thumping, but if both are hitting the same thing, then what's going to happen is they're going to mask each other. So maybe sometimes when the kick drum hits and the bass hits at the same time, you hear the bass more than the kick, and then when the kick hits and the bass isn't playing, the kick sounds nice and loud. And so that means that they're fighting for some frequencies. And that's kind of what's happening here in this mix. It sounds kind of good, but you've got your kick is kind of getting lost sometimes when the bass is hitting. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put an EQ on both of these. So we'll use that EQ7, and we'll go add one to the bass as well. So this one's for the kick, and I'm going to hold the shift key and pull up the one for the bass. And what I can do here is I can just go through and solo my kick and my bass. And now, there we go, there's our two. Okay, so we can do this a lot of ways. We can start by trying to make one of these sound good and then make the other one kind of fit in there. And really the bass sound is pretty good. The kick sounds pretty good as well, but the kick needs to be a little beefier. So we're going to start by finding some low frequencies to kind of boost the kick in. So one of the key things to realize as we're adding gain in an EQ plugin here, you got to realize that if you are close to hitting red, we need to pull a little bit out of the input so that we can add a little bit of gain in here. And we are pretty close to the red on the kick drum, and so I'm going to pull out some of the input there. So now you notice what's happening. The kick is getting more prominent, but it's kind of taking over the bass. And so what we're going to do is find some frequencies to pull out here in the kick where the bass can kind of live a little bit more. And it sounds like if we do some stuff around 200 or so, it's going to leave some more space for the bass. Now we can start adding some 200 to the bass here. Okay, so now you can hear how they're kind of starting to fit together a little better. Now the biggest thing to realize is that neither one of these starts off as a flat frequency range. And so it's not like if you boost here, you have to take away here, and vice versa. There is some natural boosting and cutting that's occurring in the sound itself, and so you're just augmenting that or taking away from that, what's already happening there. And so in this circumstance, we don't really need to add any more low end here or really take away from what we're boosting over here. But at the 200 hertz level, it does work quite well to boost some of this up. We can even narrow it a little bit and take some away on the kick drum. And then the other thing we need to make sure we do is all of these instruments have a presence in the high end. We're just going to focus on the kick drum for a second here. Hear that? In the high end, you got kind of the tap of the kick, which is really an important part. We learned in compression, we want that to come through for the punchiness and attack. So we can make sure we get that prominent in the kick. See, and there, if we pull out the same frequencies in the bass, you notice that thump, that whap comes through more on the kick. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do what I keep telling you to do, not take too long working on something while it's soloed, and listen to it in the whole mix. Okay, and then we can focus even more on just the rhythm section. Do the bass, and we'll just add the piano in there. Okay, and then we might want to just go and adjust some of our track volume here. Okay, so let's bypass it real quick. Okay, so you can hear how it's kind of mushy, the division between the two here. And then with our processing, just kind of cleared up the division between the kick and the bass. They're kind of fitting better together, living better together, and functioning better together. And that is how you balance the kick and the bass with equalization.